Hello everyone, I'm Jorge. This is Rodrigo, my co-writer, and my producer, Manon. La Soledad means the solitude. And for me, it's a very personal story. It's very close to my heart. La Soledad is a house where I grew up. I remember playing with my childhood friend, Jose, the man you see there as a kid. Back in those days, he was the grandson of the maid. We would climb the trees and throw mangoes at the neighbors and get in trouble for it. We would hide in that fountain, because it never had water, and look at our first nude magazines. And I remember hiding under the bed of my great-grandfather and speaking to him, even though he died long before I was born. Today, my family hasn't been in the house for 15 years. They abandoned the house. But Jose continues to live there with his grandma, the lady that took care of my great-grandparents. And they live there with Jose's daughter, Adrialis, a 5-year-old girl, and his wife, Marley. Jose works as a handyman and spends most of his time taking for Adrialis because his wife is the one bringing most of the bread, most of the money. She works as a maid down the street. And our story really starts when they receive a visit from a lawyer who says that they must leave the house in 2 months because the inheritors of the house are wanting to demolish it. So faced with this problem of homelessness, Jose does what any good father would do. He goes and tries to get more work. He goes to a lawyer and asks for help, but they won't help him because he cannot afford the fees. So faced with the fact that he doesn't have any tangible solutions in the real world, he gets in touch with the spirits and the spiritual world that has always inhabited La Soledad. And in the middle of a fever, his grandmother, who's very sick, says to him that there's a legend of gold coins that is supposedly buried in the walls of this house. So he embarks on this mystical journey to find the gold and to save his family from homelessness. In the film, we explore the difficulties of living in Venezuela. We see Jose fighting for his family, standing in line to get groceries, hoping to find the milk, because rumors say that the items are to be found, but he gets to the end of the line and he realizes he cannot afford these items. He's standing in line waiting to see if he can find the medicine for his grandmother. So the antagonist in this film is Venezuela around him. I would like to show you a clip from a research trip that I did to Caracas. I hadn't seen my friend for 15 years, and I was hoping that he was going to make this film with us, but I didn't know. But to my surprise, he was more than willing, and he is participating in a very special way. So I would like to show you an extract of the piece that we made.
Clavelito, clavelito, estrella de la mañana, claro lucero del día, como no me despertaste cuando sirve el alma mía.
Bye.
Gracias.
Nada. Te conté el libro.
¿Contraté el libro?
Sí, eso es para ti.
¿Qué es esto?
Tu libro.
¿Mi libro?
Sí. Y mira, tiene foto. Teníamos una foto. Esas fotos, esas son una familia.
Sí.
Mira.
¿Dónde conseguiste esto?
Mira,
Son fotos.
la saqué ahí.
Sí, fotos.
Y mira, cuántas fotos.
Hay muchas fotos.
¿Tú sabes? Y te hago.
¿Tú metiste esta moneda aquí?
No.
As co-writers, we would like to explore what it means to be Venezuelans after having to leave the country, because it wasn't a choice. That is why the theme of La Soledad is loss and grief. We feel we lost a country, we feel we lost an identity that we're trying to regain. Jose and Jorge lost the relationship they had, and now both are about to lose the house they grew up in. La Soledad is a film that reflects the current Venezuelan reality in a very unique way because this house is located in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in Caracas. So for the people that live in this neighborhood, it might be a slum in their backyard. For the people that live in La Soledad, it can be an oasis away from the slums and from the crime that is punishing our city right now. For us, it's important to tell this story now because it really shows the consequences of the broken promises the government had made. And it also reflects the massive social division that still exists in our country.
I met Rodrigo and Jorge in Toronto, where they now live, during the Hot Dogs Film Festival. And what brought us together was our desire to make socially driven art house films. But what I particularly loved about this project was the unique personal and poetic approach that Jorge was imagining for the project. And we're going to film on location in Caracas in the house. Coming from a documentary background, we're really keen to keep a small and intimate approach to the filmmaking process, which we did with the demo already, and really working with Jose and his family as they reenact scenes from their own lives, and to try and encourage naturalistic performances from them because they want to tell this story with us, and that's what we want to achieve with the film. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Manon, there's another producer on board, right? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, of course. So, as you can hear, I'm from France, and I'm involved in the development and everything. But in Caracas, we're working with Adriana Herrera, who's an established Venezuelan producer whose latest feature film premiered at Berlin.
Great. So you're very well based there. Okay, any questions? Anything you'd like to ask? Yes, sorry, Michel.
Just to clarify, you said you're going back to this house, which is something which belongs to your own personal real life, and the characters are going to be the people who actually live in this house, but it's not a documentary. You're going to fictionalize what they're doing, right?
Correct. Yes, so we have built an entire narrative based on the real situation. The search for the gold develops in different ways. Based on their beliefs, which they actually believe that there's spirits in the house, so they're guided by the spirits to find this gold, and then they apply more traditional methods like searching with metal detectors and stuff like that. In the end of the film, they don't find the gold, and the grandmother, who is the one holding him really to this house, passes away and joins the spirit world of the house.
Okay. It's a pity that you cut off the part where we saw the grandmother. I really enjoyed that. So there's much more to see in the film. And this shooting was done with the real characters. These are the characters you'll have in the film.
Correct.
Great. Congratulations. And all the best.